everyone, welcome to BullCaster, a talk show with all crypto bulls. We're here to discuss the most exciting industry topics with the best industry experts, influencers, and remarkable personalities. I'm Constantin Kogan, co-founder of BullPerks, and we're excited to welcome our guest today, Michaela Lallouz, who's a Web3 content creator, educator, and public speaker. Michaela is a multi-talented creative who has combined her skills in Web3 strategy, filmmaking, journalism, public speaking, directing, and acting. Through her experience as an early adopter of Web3 space, she has led and educated the community of 70K more people. Like I think combined is probably over 100K, right, in social media followers in both in TikTok, Twitter, and many other social media platforms. She's a public speaker and has been featured in major podcasts and publications and been speaker in NYC, NFT, MetaCon, and other conferences. Now she's in Dubai, so we're going to talk about this part, and just generally really nice to see you, Michaela. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I love the way you introduced me. I want you to introduce me a little bit more. It flowed very nice off the tongue, so I love it. I love it. Let's go. Yeah, no, I'm really excited. I love talking about all things Web3, so this is going to be a really good chat, especially with some of the information we just got today as well. So. Yeah.
No, I love the energy. So we're gonna go straight to the questions, right? We have first half of the conversation I'm gonna ask you questions, then our audience is gonna ask you questions. So let's go straight to it. Like, according to Google searches, the NFTs have exceeded inquiries about Bitcoin and Ethereum. And they're like end of the last year, early this year, and it shows remarkable ability to scale. Right now, it drove the surge of the NFT space and the entire interest of this concept. But right now we're still in a bear market. So the reality of the bear market, that the secondary market is not as active as it used to be before. So what trends are you seeing right now?
Bear market is a mindset. No, I'm joking. What trends am I seeing right now? So, okay, I am very focused in the NFT space. I'm not, and of course, not to sound silly, like the NFT space goes by the crypto space. Like, if crypto goes down, NFTs are affected. However, there are still communities and people that are, and projects that are launching and things that are happening. The meta changes, like the trends are changing every single day. So honestly, the trend that's right now and that I'm trying to actually tell founders and companies, not only in the Web3 space, just in general, to understand and like what we can learn from the slower moment in this the Web3 space is that change. We need to adapt to change, like understanding that this market is like the trends change every single day. Every single week, there's like a new meta, there's a new vibe, there's something new to get interested in. I'd say a trend right now is AI. And you could say, okay, well, that's not really NFTs or crypto, but it is. Like at the end of the day, like Web3 is just the next phase of the internet. So it's like saying, like, people will be like, oh, how do I pivot my business into the Web3 space? Or, can I do can I bring my travel agency into the Web3 space? It's like, of course you can. That's like saying, can I bring my travel agency into Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, right? So right now, I think that a big trend is AI and ChatGPT. Have you played around with ChatGPT yet?
Oh, yes. I actually wrote an essay, about the prediction of what's going to happen in crypto. And it was scary because by 2030, like the AI actually predicted I wanted to play of the opportunities for the AI to destroy crypto. And it gave me very accurate, playbook, how first it will deactivate crypto centralized exchanges and everything. No, it was curious how vulnerable it is, right? And it was scary, to be honest.
Yeah, so I was gonna say something like a little dark. So I'm like, oh, you don't need ChatGPT to tell you how to destroy crypto. Just read the headlines. But that's another thing, really. And I know it's not really part of the question, but we can't really ignore the fact on what happened with the whole centralized exchanges and stuff like that. So again, I think another trend is education. And I know that that's another buzzword, just like community and metaverse and decentralization and whatnot. But I think that more people like OGs or people that I really thought were, have been in this space for so many years didn't truly understand what it meant to keep your funds on a centralized exchange until the whole FTX situation happened. And that's a big deal, So I feel like right now trends are education, like learning more about like what you're doing and why you're doing it, and AI. And it's not that people in Web3 are like onto the next new shiny thing. It's that this is all just it's embracing technology. Like that's the trend here. I feel like people in the Web3 space are quick to embrace technology and not afraid to pivot. Because in this space, as you know, we have to pivot all the time. We have to change and pivot all the time, and that's something really important. I think that again a lot of people can learn from the Web3 space, and that's not just about crypto and NFTs. It's just kind of like a global thing.
No, 100%. And then from this question, I want to jump right next to the UAE component, right? So you are right now in Dubai, and there's a huge metaverse strategy and agenda. Billions of dollars have been deployed. So what do you see, like, being like, there physically, and what is the current stage of adoption of NFTs and metaverse in UAE?
It's huge. It's kind of being looked at like the crypto capital of the world, and I think that it's like that because it's very easy for expats to kind of come and get a visa and like open up a company and have a business, and like you have just so many entrepreneurs and builders here that want to network and work on things. And you could say, oh, like yeah, there's that in LA, or it's like that in New York, but it's here there's just something special where it's I don't really know how to put my finger on it, but yeah, the networking is amazing, and they're really serious. Like the government is for it. Like I feel like the US is like against crypto and NFTs, and it's like a bad word, and it's like, oh, it's all the headlines are so terrible. And here it's like the UAE is investing $4 billion into the metaverse strategy. There's going to be 40,000 jobs by 2030 for this metaverse strategy. Like they're really coming in full force. There's every single day there's a Web3 event, and the community here is on fire. I'm part of one of the largest NFT like Web3 communities in the whole MENA region, the whole Middle East. ArtStyle and Beidou, I've had the pleasure of working with like UAE NFT, and all of these people are just they're from extraordinary backgrounds, like really serious government and business individuals are taking this very seriously. And in a report that I just got today, they were saying that they think, or that it's predicted that this metaverse opportunity is going to be worth or generating about 8 to 13 trillion dollars when Gen Z starts to really adopt it. So again, this is obviously, as we know, like very new. Well, it's not new because all the crypto OGs are like, it's not new. We've been here the whole time, but we've been, it became popular around only 2 years ago when I pretty much got in. So it is relatively new. And, again, I like to remind everybody, when the internet was invented, there was that .com boom, and there was all the headlines also saying, is the internet just a fad and whatnot? So yes, of course, there are scams in the NFT crypto space and the Web3 space, but there's scams everywhere. So like, don't let the headlines get you down, really study and understand what the space has to offer.
100%. And if we go to the nitty gritty, like, you were kind enough to send me this report. It was interesting. Like, so first of all, Dubai has a metaverse assembly. So it's an official organization that actually will govern on the level of regulators, authorities, like, the jobs will be created. Secondly, it was an interesting quote, which I know you've been traveling through New York and LA. You lived there for quite a while, right? So the quote I love there is like, buying land in the metaverse today is similar to buying land in New York 250 years ago. So please comment on that.
Yeah, I love that. There's a lot of good quotes in that report that was just released today from the Metaverse like assembly that happened in September, this September of 2022. I was actually supposed to go, but I got caught up working on a project in the US and, just hanging around there. But yeah, what do I think of that quote? I think it fits exactly and kind of what I'm trying to say is that like the people here are really trying to they're very serious about what they're building. And I think that oh sorry. That is mother calling me. Not to lose my train of thought, but yeah, so I kind of did. But anyways,
We're
something
talking
that
about
I
the
took from yeah yeah
land
the
in New
land.
York that kind of almost like so it's basically saying metaphorically that if you knew that Manhattan will develop into multi-billion-dollar hub as it is right now, financial hub, Wall Street will be there, right? That means your land that you're buying there, we're not even talking about like anything else, right? But the land you're buying there is gonna appreciate like tens of thousands of percent, right? Now, for a lot of users who are getting into the metaverse and asking themselves a very reasonable question, like, well, first of all, how do I discover which land is the best? Secondly, is like, what is the utility of the land nowadays, and what is going to be, let's say, in the like let's say 5 years, or even let's go like 1 or 2 years closer horizon. So there's a lot of open questions which people are still, they need a lot of education on that. So I'm sure you already tested some of the lens, different metaverses. So in your experience, why is it important to participate now? Not like tomorrow or in 5 years, but right now.
Well, you always get rewarded for being early. So we saw people in the crypto industry getting rewarded for being early adopters of Bitcoin and Ethereum and, crypto. And I myself experienced being early and being rewarded for being early in the NFT space. I was an early adopter of the project Bored Ape Yacht Club, a big blue chip project, the apes that are the photos of monkeys that are selling for millions and millions of dollars. I bought that asset for $600 and later on sold it, for 15x or so, close to 90,000 or whatnot. And that was because I was early and I was paying attention. And that wasn't the only time that happened. I've done that even with certain services like Ethereum name service, ENS. I was an early adopter and just using the website and getting my ENS name. And there was an airdrop that happened and I got airdropped around $7,000, So being early is 10 on 10. And that doesn't mean that you have to invest money. So again, a fun fact about me, and I like to say this and not like oh, I'm so cool way, but something that like a lot of people think that you have to invest in this industry with money and that you need a lot of money to be a part of this space. It's actually not true. I got into this industry and I've never bought crypto with fiat. So I never used my own dollars to buy crypto. I've only generated it through selling my art, selling my services. And it's kind of this game that I play with myself where like I'll, either pull out some crypto and then make it all again and then, and like do all of this stuff with it. So it's been a fun game. So the point of me saying that is that being early isn't about like, oh, what can I throw my money at? It's about how much can I educate myself? And then, you really have to treat it like an investment if you are putting money in. But honestly, you can get rewarded just by being present and early. So just by being aware in this industry.
I think that's a really beautiful insight. Like for people who have doubts that it's still like not possible, not doable, there's a lot of other giveaways. There's a lot of airdrops. There's a lot of, as you mentioned, you can actually, if you're an influencer or if you're just a regular person, you can participate in something like there was a lot of campaigns that help like to identify bugs in the system, right? If you're a developer, or provide some UI UX comments on any like ecosystems, and then or somehow work on multiple different occasions and still be rewarded with early tokens, which can then become like, if it's a protocol, early stage protocol, and it's can in 2-3 years going to become huge. That's amazing. And so I think that by itself like proves that we're still in the opportunity zone, right? And opportunity cost is not high, like it's actually very doable. But with this said, like I really want to open we have a lot of questions. So I want our audience to start asking you directly, right? We have questions from YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter. So I'm just gonna read it for you, and then you shoot the answers. So Captain Huddle from YouTube is asking, what is the biggest myth about Web3 and NFTs you see in the internet, and how would you bust it?
I think the biggest myth is that, okay, there's two. So I'll start with that you need to be really smart and into technology to be in this industry. So a lot of people think, okay, to get involved into crypto or NFTs or the Web3 space in general, I need to, be a dev, or I need to be an artist, or I need to know a lot about crypto and trading and be a crypto trader. Huge myth. Not true at all. Actually, I'll tackle those three things. Like, I need to be an influencer, I need to be a smart trader, or like a dev. So influencer, we actually a lot of celebrity projects fail. Actually, the most projects that fail in this industry are influencer celebrity led projects. So it's almost like Web3 has reconstructed the way that we see influencers. It's almost like we prefer thought leaders, and we want people that actually are progressing, humanity and the space. So it's not just for influencers. Like, really, you could be just any like literally me. I was just anybody, getting into the space. And then because I was an early adopter, and because I took interest, and I was, present, and I'm always present. I haven't taken a day off in the space because I'm so passionate about it. And opportunities have come. So it's a huge place for a network. I've never seen something like this before. I've been connected to extraordinary people because of this space. So that's number one. And number two, that you have to be a dev. No. So again, it's like saying, like, Web3 is just the next phase of the internet. So it's like saying, oh, can I be a chef, or a lawyer, and be in the Web3 space? It's like, yes, we need lawyers, chef. I mean, you could do some cool initiative with rewards, or some reward program, like giving, like whatever. Like, there's so much space for people to come in. So it's Web3 space is one for all. It's just the next phase of the internet. So that's what I would say is, on the top of my head, to answer that question, is like the number one, other than it being a scam as well, but I don't want to get into that.
Yeah,
So
that is like, separate.
that's gonna lead us. Yes, it's a separate one. So yeah.
Yes. So Alvar Jenner's BL, if I pronounce it correctly, from Twitter, is asking, could you tell us about your favorite NFT? I assume you have a bunch of them. Would you sell your favorite NFT for the right price? Asking from Twitter.
Definitely. It's I don't I'm being very careful because, I don't want to be like, oh, I'm pumping something, or, and whatnot, but I actually don't own any of these NFTs anymore. I have sold at the right price. So I would say, obviously, like, the NFT that's closest to home, because it's kind of what started my journey into like the collectible and flipping spaces, has to be, of course, the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Not because it, made so much money and whatnot, because at the time when I was bullish on it, it was worth zero. Like, it was just worth what I bought. It was worth $600. And what I loved about it is that I was able to make my own version of the apes, and sell that. And we were doing scavenger hunts, and like just really the community aspect. So it kind of became this like token of hope for me, and during the pandemic. So definitely the Bored Ape Yacht Club is very close to my heart. And to answer your question, would I sell it for the right price? Of course. So I bought the BYC original ape for $600, and I sold it for, again, around like $85,000 to $90,000. So for sure, for the right price. Of course, who wouldn't? Hello. And then I sold.
Some people would, by the way.
Yeah,
people,
you're
like,
right. You're right. No. Some people, yeah. Some people, like, look, it depends on your financial position, and you know, just kind of like where you're at. So I was in a position where I was like, wow, this can help me and a lot of people in my life. So I'm going to sell this asset. It hurt a lot, but it definitely taught me a lot as well, that like, you know, you're still you could still be in the game. So like from there, I've obviously, it's not the only NFTs that I've traded. I've traded so many on and off. But I recently sold another asset from there, like the mutant. Like that's something, these are things that I've hodled for a very long time, that I had like an emotional connection to. That's why I'm talking about it. But there's a lot of great projects. I just don't feel comfortable talking about it because I don't want to say that I'm like pumping them or anything. But yeah, there's some, yeah. I hope that answered the question. I know it's a little kind of
No, it's
all
good.
over the
Like, so
place answer.
it's a good challenging question. So I love the way you answer.
Yeah.
Okay,
Also,
second,
for like in regards to like hodling, just really quick, if you're ever concerned or you're ever thinking like, okay, I bought this asset for a high price, a higher price, and now it's like low, but it's still worth something. You have to ask yourself like, what is prevent like, why are you holding it? And the best way to really get an honest answer is, would you spend this amount of money today on that asset? And if you wouldn't, don't let your ego get in the way. Like sometimes it's okay to sell for a quote unquote loss, and like take that money and take that lesson and like reinvest it in something else. So that's happened to me before as well. So yeah.
got it. Samed Demir from LinkedIn is asking, what's the main problem in Web3 and NFTs right now that's delaying mass adoption, and how can we solve this?
The biggest problem is that things just look complicated. You know, if you've ever tried to read Etherscan, which is like all the transactions on Ethereum, which is very interesting, tell you obviously a lot, and you need to know how to be able to read it if you're using, you know, if you're trading NFTs, or if you're, you know, using crypto and everything in general. It just looks complicated. It doesn't look pretty, and it's not simple. You know, Apple is simple. Like, do I know everything that this phone can do? Absolutely not. But I know what I need to know, and like it's just done in a simple way. So I think that if things were just made to look more simple, which I think, you know, Ledger, for example, like the cold wallet, cold storage, which I think everybody should look into after everything that happened with the centralized exchanges. They even made like a simpler ledger that they just released, for example. You know, like I think that things just need to look simpler. And also, if something is bothering you in the space and you feel like you could fix it, like it may seem too good to be true, but it's like the space is so new that you could be the next Steve Jobs and the next Apple, utilizing this technology and solving the issue of, you know, it not looking simple. So I would say, think it looks too complicated, doesn't look pretty on the eye. And also the headlines. The headlines and lack of education. But anyway.
Yeah, we're not gonna go there too, because you know that's I have a lot to say here, like after certain news that came out yesterday. Trend Hunter from YouTube is asking, what was your first experience with Web3? Do you have a moment where you realize this is the future and you should get in at ASAP?
Yeah, so the way that I got in was interesting. So this was now like 2 years ago. I started to like hear about NFTs kind of, I guess, like January or so. And I got in as an artist, but I got in just because there was this just newfound aspect of community. So I started to join these clubhouse rooms, and there were strangers from all over the world teaching me about this new technology for free every single day. So they were like, you know, telling me what Web3 was, what is MetaMask 101, NFT 101, how to do this, how to do that. And at the time I was like, okay, I don't have gas fees to upload your work, for example, were, you know, $100. And I was like, well, I don't know if I have $100 to just throw away, because what if I don't sell anything? And I had strangers say, oh, I'll, you know, here you could hear some Ethereum and you could upload your artwork, for example. I didn't end up taking it, but, you know, still just that offer and that gesture, I was like, this is something new. as well as seeing the opportunity for artists and royalties for artists. So the idea of the provenance, having to never wonder if, if this is a real Picasso or if this is a real Basquiat, like the next generation of that, just because the art world is so shady that, having this provenance that is stamped on the blockchain is something revolutionary for just the art world, and history, just to keep this ledger of history. And so that really got me interested. And then the aspect of community and unity and, anybody, anywhere, no matter what their financial background is, having the ability to have a wallet and have access to a bank account really I had this aha moment. Yeah. And I was like, all right. I never left after that. No, never wanted to leave.
We'll make the highlights. It will be like one of the highlights will be like stamp on the blockchain. That will be like I love. So Rafael from YouTube is asking, how are you making the most of this so-called crypto winter in your daily life? What changes do you see compared to the last bull market?
So, well, I've shifted more from trading every day, because obviously this time last year, January, February, there was a huge like bull market, like everything and anything was just minting, and that was kind of not good, because that's where all like the scammy stuff was happening. No, you would go on TikTok and you would see like, I just sold this for 100K, and then I'm like, no you didn't. Like, I read the book, no you didn't. And there was a lot of like lies and like stuff going on, and I was like, okay, this is so frustrating to someone like me who got in for these reasons, and then now seeing this, I was like, oh my god, now everyone's gonna think this place is a scam and run away, but like this isn't it. This isn't the technology. This isn't the essence of the space. So the difference is now is I'm focusing more on the real quote unquote builders, like the companies that are taking their time. Cause like if you're building something serious, it's going to take time. So I've moved more to helping educate others so that we don't make the same mistakes, and educating myself more and focusing more on like advisory consulting, like that aspect, and like less trading and flipping. Although I do still have to I have to keep my finger on the pulse. So I'm in the market every single day. I'm just being way more careful. I always was, though, on where I invest my money. And I think that even in the bull market, I was careful. I didn't let the crazy amount of money making opportunity, judge. Like, obviously, I've failed a lot in this space, but like I've succeeded a lot. And the times where I was successful is I am almost a pro at like not falling for the FOMO tactics that a lot of these companies or projects will do. So just becoming like a FOMO expert and just being really careful on where I put my investments and whatnot, and following my intuition with it.
That's smart. I think Anonymous is asking from YouTube is like, so what is the difference between getting a virtual job and a physical job in Dubai, and how can I get a job in a metaverse?
I don't think I don't know how to answer that necessarily, just because like a lot of, like I work digitally, even though, I'm in Dubai, like, we're doing this digitally, you're in New York and I'm in Dubai. So I think that there's a lot of jobs online. I think what you're referring to maybe is one I mentioned, that there's going to be 40,000 new jobs. So that's by 2030. So I guess like the place to start would definitely be on Twitter. So if you're not on Twitter, the hub of NFTs and this whole Web3 space is on NFT crypto Twitter. So I would get on that ASAP, because there are people that literally post job hirings on Twitter. I myself have done it before, and I get most of my jobs and work from Twitter. So be active with Twitter, interact with community members from the NFT space. It's still pretty tiny in my opinion. And there's always people looking to hire and collaborate, and stuff like that. That's where you can start. And then in regards to like the 40,000 jobs, like I'm not sure. I don't think they rolled it out yet. That's just something to look forward to, or that they're planning. Usually with these things, it does take like time, although I think it's pretty quick because it's all happening pretty fast. But yeah, so I would, again, if you want a job in the Web3 space, get on NFT Twitter. There is no doubt about it. Like I know things that, are like I'm the first to know about these things because I'm active on Twitter all the time before Instagram, before LinkedIn, before literally TikTok and whatever it is. Twitter's the place. So get on NFT Twitter if you want a job in the Web3 space.
That's a good advice. And with closing this conversation, I know you're very active on Twitter, you're very active on TikTok, but what is your preferred means of communication if somebody wants to ask something for you or offer collaboration after they see this podcast? So where should they find you?
Yeah, so I'm active every single day, every single day on Twitter. And in my Twitter, there's a link in my bio. And if you want to collaborate or work with me, there's an application either for advisory and consulting or Twitter Spaces. But yeah, I usually answer comments. I pretty much read everything just because I'm on there all the time. So you could either do that. I don't really read DMs. So if you really truly want to work together, that link in my bio is the place. I read all applications. That is something I do read because if you are serious about working together, you'll fill that application out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how to reach me if you want to collab.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Michaela. It was really nice learning from you. So thank you for your thoughts. Like I'm sure our community appreciated it. And if they will have more questions, they know how to fill in the application now. Like that's very clear. And thank you everyone for joining BullCaster today. And we're going to see you in about 2 weeks at 4 p.m. UTC or 11 a.m. EST and YouTube Live, LinkedIn Live, Twitter Live, all the possible lives. And we will invite more amazing personalities like Michaela. For today, we thank you, everyone.
Thank you for having me. This was really fun. Good chats.
It was. Thank you.